Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Cullum. I am the academic advisor in the Health Professions Advising Office here at the University of Maryland. I have with me one of my students.
Hi, I'm Julianne.
Julianne is one of our nursing pathway students. So when we get to nursing pathway, we are going to chat with her. So today we're talking all about allied health and how allied health is incorporated here at the University of Maryland. If I can figure out. Okay. So the Reed York Health Professions Advising Office, we are 6 full-time staff members with a graduate assistant. We have 4 advisors, a credentials coordinator, and then our program management specialist and a student worker. Our advisors are split up with 3 for med and dent, and then myself for allied health and nursing. So if you're interested in PA, PT, OT, nursing, pharmacy, you would come and see me. We offer a plethora of things through our office. So we have advising appointments that you schedule beforehand. And then we have drop-ins that are kind of a free-for-all on Wednesday afternoons. We do workshops. We do a lot of different workshops. We do intro to PA workshops. Our PT OT workshop is currently on YouTube, so you can view that anytime. We do workshops that are about financing your professional programs, how to build a school list, more about the specifics of each application cycle. We bring a lot of speakers onto campus, whether they're from the applications or from different programs. We have a health recruitment fair every April, and that's where about 100 different programs and resources come to our campus. Anyone and everyone is invited. You don't have to be a University of Maryland student, but it's just so the admissions representatives and yourselves can kind of talk one-on-one, get any information and any questions you may have without having to email them. We offer committee letters. Those are specific to our pre-med and pre-dent students. And then we also have a lot of different student organizations as well as student ambassadors. So Julianne is one of our student ambassadors. She's specific to nursing pathway. So our student ambassadors have office hours in our hallway directly across from our office, and students just kind of come and go, talk to the student ambassadors really about anything, classes, professors, because the advisors have never taken these classes. So when a student asks me who's the best professor, I definitely refer them to our student ambassadors to answer those kinds of questions. So they're a really great resource to have as well. So like I said, we advise for all health professions. So that's med, dent, optometry, PA, PT, OT, pharmacy, nursing. We have had genetic counseling students come into our office. So really any and everything that has to do with the health professions and going to those programs eventually, we are your office. We are not an office that you have to come see. We are there when and if you ever need us. Okay, so some general requirements about the allied health programs. Academics and coursework is super important. Your GPA, your cumulative, and your science GPA is going to get your foot in the door to these programs. I'm really sorry if you hear some jingling. My dog is building his little nest in the back here. Your GPA is going to get your foot in the door. That's what's going to get you looked at for these programs on your application. They do have minimums and they do vary between programs. So it's really important to note that when the time does come to apply, where you are and where you may be wanting to apply and kind of how that works. And that's why I'm here as well, so we can talk that through. Professional schools also have entrance exams. So med and dent, MCAT, DAT, optometry is the OAT. A lot of nursing schools require the T's. Pharmacy programs require the PCAT. PT, OT, and PA programs require the GRE. And now there's a new exam called the PA CAT, which is similar to the MCAT, but it's for PA schools. It's brand new this year, so it's not something that's widely been adopted yet to every program, but it is there. So just making sure that that is on your radar as an exam you may need to take to get into PA school. Clinical experience, service, and volunteer experience are other pillars that you need in your application to these programs. So clinical experience is going to vary between what your interests are. Our workshops dive a lot deeper into the specific clinical experience you need for PA versus PT or OT. And as I said, our PT OT workshop is currently online. So if you're interested, you can go and watch that. Service and volunteer experience is another one that you definitely need. They want to see that, you know, you're devoted to your community and devoted to helping others in need, however that may be and however you may be passionate in showing that. Leadership and involvement on campus specifically is something that they look for. So that could be student orgs or tutoring through America Reads or something like that. We have a whole office on campus dedicated to community service and leadership and things like that. So they're definitely another really great resource. You can also show leadership through your letters of recommendation that you eventually get. So you don't have to be president of a student organization. You could be doing some awesome work through your research experience off campus at NIH or something like that. So leadership is something that you are being able to show, not just through leadership, you know, titles, I guess. Letters of recommendation are essential to these processes. So again, every program is going to vary with what they require. Some require a letter from a science professor, some require them from a clinician. Whatever the case may be, that's going to be based off the programs that you are interested in applying to. But letters of recommendation are essential, so it's really important to build those relationships early and often. And then the central application services. So that would be where you apply to all of these programs. CASPA, PT CAS, AMCAS, whatever CAS that you're going through, that's where you're going to apply to the programs, send your transcripts, send your letters of recommendation, input your basic information and personal statement, all of that kind of stuff. So some tips and things to know. Allied health careers in our office are separate from med and dent. Like I said, we have 3 advisors that are for med, dent, and optometry and podiatry, and then I do all of the allied health ones. Major does not matter here at Maryland for whatever program that you may be interested in. You know, you don't graduate from UMD with a bachelor's of pre-med or a bachelor's of pre-PA. You are a pre-PA student if you want to go to PA school. It's self-declared, essentially. There's no paperwork that you have to fill out, nothing. If you want to go to those programs, you are that type of student. So major does not matter. Prerequisite coursework GPA is really important. So, you know, a lot of times students want to know which major is the best major, and there really is none. But there are a lot of smart majors to pick if you're interested in going into these fields. Public health, kinesiology, bio, chem, really anything that's like science heavy that can essentially allow you to double dip with what you need to graduate and what you need for the prerequisites for the programs that you're interested in going to. So professional schools sometimes do not accept AP credits. UMD accepts AP credits for 4s and 5s, but professional schools sometimes do not. That can be especially real for psychology courses. A lot of, you know, allied health programs require psych, and sometimes they don't require AP or, accept AP for whatever reason that may be. So that's something to kind of note later down the road. You may have to retake psych or something that you had an AP credit for. Experience is a critical part of these applications. So whether that's, a specific amount of hours that you need, or a type of experience that you need, again, our workshops dive much deeper into those specific experiences for the specific track that you're interested in. But again, like, you want to know that this is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. So getting that experience early to know that you want to be a nurse, or, maybe when you're shadowing a nurse, you see a PA and then you want to become a PA. So it really is important to get experiences early and often. And then there's always going to be a core group of requirements. So anatomy and physiology, chemistry, biology, math, those are going to be like your core group of requirements. But professional programs are truly the Wild West when it comes to what you need. So some programs may require one type of chemistry, or chem and orgo. So it does kind of depend on the specific programs that you are applying to. So that's where a school list comes in handy. So you have that at your ready to know what you need for what school, how many credits, if they accept APs, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so just some more tips. Do you have to declare yourself as pre-health? As I previously mentioned, nope. You are self-declared. There is no forms that you need to fill out. It doesn't go on your transcript that you're pre-med or pre-PA or anything like that. Can you study abroad and be pre-health? Absolutely. That's why our advisors are here, to kind of advise you on what classes that you could take abroad, when you could go abroad based off of the classes that you still have to take. So those are definitely conversations that we have often, and we would love to have with you if you're interested in studying abroad. Do the things you do in high school count towards your application towards a pre-health professional program? Unfortunately not. A lot of the programs want to see the experiences that you have are through college. That's not to discount any of the experiences that you've had in high school. If anything, you have an in, right? So if you were a CNA in high school, and you want to continue working, then absolutely, those hours that you're doing starting your freshman semester are going to count towards these professional programs. And then, can you see an HPO advisor before you start at UMD? So we're in a unique situation right now. So, with being very virtual, but typically we only see current UMD students and alumni. Once you are a student here in the fall, we would be more than happy to meet with you. But we have that policy just because we do have a lot of pre-health students, med, dent, PA, nursing. So we want to make sure, their needs are met when they are applying and whatever else they have going on in their lives. But as an incoming student, we're always available to answer your questions through email, or if you give us a call on the phone as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the nursing pathway. So the University of Maryland College Park has a partnership with the University of Maryland School of Nursing, where it's essentially a guaranteed admissions pathway. So you do 2 years at College Park getting your prerequisites, and then you do 2 years in the School of Nursing, whether it be Baltimore or Shady Grove, to then graduate from the School of Nursing with a Bachelor's of Nursing. So you will no longer be a terrapin. You will no longer do classes at College Park. You are a full-blown nursing student. Let me click through. So as an incoming student, if you marked that you're interested in nursing on your Coalition app or Common application, we have you, and we've reviewed your applications, and those decisions went out last week, I believe. So you should have gotten something if you marked that you were interested in nursing. If you're not sure that you marked nursing and now you're interested in nursing and you want to be considered, please give me an email. I can give you my email address at the end of this. So I can start to review your application and we can get you onto the nursing pathway. So you've been accepted as a nursing pathway student. What does that mean? So throughout your time here, and every student's going to be different with what they're coming in with, APs or community college classes and things like that. But essentially, you're completing 59 prereqs at College Park. You have to sustain a minimum of a 3.25 GPA throughout your time here at Maryland overall. Your minimum science GPA must be a 3.0, and that's in these following classes. So chemistry, micro, anatomy 1, and anatomy 2. You have to have no grade lower than a B- in those classes and a 3.0 science GPA. You also have to have Chem 131 and 132 finished and BSci 170 and 171 done before reaching 30 credits at the University of Maryland. So we want you to have those classes done by the time you reach 30 credits because it's a pretty good indicator of how you're progressing through this pathway if you're going to be done within the 2 years. And we want to make sure that you're staying on the right track to go into the School of Nursing. Once you've done what I just listed, then you are guaranteed admission to the School of Nursing in Baltimore for their BSN program. You go there, you pick Shady Grove or Baltimore, and you are a nursing student. So, Julianne, she is a nursing pathway student. So you want to talk a little bit about it?
So, like I said earlier, I'm Julianne. I am matriculating to nursing school in fall 2020. And so basically I came in to Maryland as a general biology major. And then once I was at College Park, I was thinking that I should really look at all the options for what I wanted to consider in terms of my occupation for later in life. So then I stumbled upon the nursing pathway my first semester. And for me, with the credits I had coming in and everything, I had to decide whether I wanted to do nursing, basically during my first semester. And so I did, and now I'm in the pathway, and I generated a whole new plan with Kayla and everything, but it's definitely not an easy, pathway to be in. It's very challenging. It's a lot of work, but I feel like it really prepares you for what you're about to start in the next chapter of your life at nursing school. And yeah, one thing that I get asked all the time is, oh, so are you taking classes at UMBC? And no, it's still the University of Maryland, just the location is in Baltimore. And then it's the University of Maryland at Shady Grove. It's just the location, but it's still University of Maryland.
Right. UMBC is a totally separate institution. Yeah. And so, yeah, Julianne will be going to the University of Maryland School of Nursing in Baltimore. So Julianne, you are in Civicus. Do you kind of want to talk about how you balance those and what Civicus is?
So Civicus is a living learning program offered at the University of Maryland. And basically when you get your acceptance letter, they'll invite you to be a part of it. It's kind of like honors or scholars, something like that. And so Civicus is really focused on leadership, scholarship, and community service. And so every semester we have to have a certain amount of service projects that we complete, and then we also have to take specific courses for to get the certification on our transcript. And so this was challenging just because a lot of the requirements for Civicus didn't apply to the prerequisites needed for nursing, but it is possible to still be part of a living learning program and be part of the nursing pathway. I don't know how courses would overlap with honors and scholars, but for Civicus it was possible. I only had to take one online class for the summer. It was less than a month, so while it's not ideal, it's still definitely manageable. And yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned the classes were challenging. How did you get through them?
Well, everybody's experience is going to be different because of what they come in with. But for me, for example, I was taking microbiology and anatomy and physiology one at the same time. So that's just a lot of science at the same time because I had 3 labs a week, and everything, but it's really just all about like staying organized, making sure that you're always on top of all your deadlines. And then honestly, like your advisors are there to help you, and like the student ambassadors are there to help you. So if you're like really struggling with like staying on top of all your work, like you have these resources that are there for you to help you succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, nursing pathways is not the only way to go to nursing school, right? So there are many different routes to become a nurse. So you can get an associate's degree. You could get a BSN, which is what Julianne would be getting at the School of Nursing in Baltimore through the pathways. You could get a master's or a master's in CNL, which is something that is offered at the University of Maryland in Baltimore. But at the end of the day, to become a nurse, no matter your status of degree, you take the NCLEX, which is the nursing licensing exam, and then you become an RN. So if you're not sure if you want to commit to the pathway, just know that that's not the only way to become a nurse. There's many different ways. You could stay at the College Park campus for 4 years, get a bachelor's of public health, and then go to nursing school. Yeah. Julianne, you got anything else to say about the pathway?
Well, just like in terms of like getting your 4-year degree, like, and then going back to get a master's of nursing, the reason why I'm doing the pathway is because like I'm like for sure happy, like I want to be a nurse. So like for me, switching to the pathway is like saving 2 years of tuition basically. So like it's kind of just weighing the pros and cons of each. If you want to spend the 4 years at College Park, or if you actually want to be a pathway student.
Yeah, and I mean, so a lot of our pathway students, they either choose to stay in College Park and commute to whichever campus, whether it's Shady Grove or Baltimore, to go to nursing school. So they're still with their friends and they still have that sense of a college experience, or they just totally immerse themselves into nursing school. Just because the hours are going to be a lot different. You're going to be in classes and clinicals different than what you may be used to as a college student. What are you doing, Julianne?
I am gonna move to Baltimore. I'm gonna there's on-campus housing that's an option, but I'm probably just gonna find an apartment to live with some people who I know at College Park, because I'm probably not gonna have a car because having a car is really expensive in either College Park or Baltimore. So yeah, I'm gonna be moving to Baltimore, but I know people who stay in College Park. It's really just a matter of preference.
Yeah. And so did you look at the Shady Grove campus at all?
I personally didn't, because in my opinion, the Baltimore campus was still going to give me more of a college experience than Shady Grove would. Like, I like being in the city of College Park, and I like having things around me, and I like having like restaurants or something to go to. So for me, like Baltimore, like everything is just like so compact, so close together. And if I'm not gonna have a car, I need to be able to walk to places. So
Right. Yeah, there are definitely two different feels. Shady Grove is a campus feel, but it's not really around anywhere. It's Shady Grove. It's kind of like a business park, I guess. And the clinical opportunities at Shady Grove are a little bit more out of the way versus in Baltimore. Shock trauma is literally 5 steps across the street from the School of Nursing. So your clinical opportunities are right there in Baltimore versus Shady Grove. You may have to travel throughout Montgomery County or something like that. And, the School of Nursing in Baltimore is in the middle of basically the Inner Harbor. So it's two very different fields. All right, Julianne. Well, I'm going to let you go. If anyone's watching this has any questions for Julianne as a student experience, you can send them to me and I will forward them to her, and she'll definitely get back to you as one of our student ambassadors. So thanks for your time, Julianne. Enjoy the rest of your spring break. Okay, so we're going to move on from nursing now, and we're going to talk about PA. So like I said, to be a pre-PA student here at Maryland, you don't have to do any paperwork, nothing like that. It's self-declared. We have a lot of pre-PA students on campus, so we require that students must attend a workshop, a PA workshop, before coming to see me as an advisor. The reason being, I want to give students as many at a time the basic information of how to make a school list, what's the GRE and how good is the score for, what should you be doing for clinical hours and volunteering. I want to give you all the 1,000-foot view at the same time, so then when you do come into an advising appointment, we can talk about you, your interests, your experience, as it pertains to you yourself and not overall. So once you complete your bachelor's degree, then that's when your PA school journey begins. You have to have a bachelor's degree in order to go to PA school. Typically, before you apply, we recommend students have around 2,000 hours. But again, that's going to be based off of each program. There are programs that don't require any hours. There are programs that require 150 hours, and then there are some that require 1,800. So it does vary from program to program, and that's why school list is super important. You should definitely shadow a PA as well, because that's the profession that you're going in, and you will have to have a PA write you a letter of recommendation for most programs. A competitive GPA for PA schools is around a 3.5. And again, like keyword competitive, that's not the minimum, that's to be competitive. A lot of times the minimum GPAs at PA programs are around a 3.0 or a 3.25, but again, that's going to be very school specific. So you apply and you get into PA school. So PA programs take about 26 months, and then you take something called the PANCE. And again, that's the licensing exam to become a PA. You take that, you are a practicing PA, and you have a state license, and your state license is renewed every 10 years. And you'll have to get a different state license if you, say, are going to PA school in New Jersey and you're from Maryland, right? You're going to want to have a Jersey license and a Maryland license because that's where you graduated from and that's where you want to practice. Okay, so moving on to pharmacy. Pharmacy programs do not require a bachelor's degree. So if you're interested in going into pharmacy school, you simply need to complete their prerequisites that are on the programs that you are interested in applying to's website, have their minimum GPAs, everything that they're requesting of you as far as the PCAT, and apply. There's no bachelor's degree required. What you will be looking for is a PharmD program, so a doctoral degree in pharmacy. The second bullet, the 2+4, 3+4, and 4+4 are kind of what we use as admissions models. So if you're coming into UMD as a freshman and you plan on spending 2 years here to get your pharmacy prerequisites finished, then you're going to spend 4 years in pharmacy school. So that's if you're planning on applying as a sophomore. The 3+4 is if you're planning on applying as a junior, and then the 4+4 is if you're planning on applying as a senior. Pharmacy prerequisites are very science heavy, so a lot of chemistry. You'll be taking economics, but they, again, vary from program to program, so definitely keeping that in mind. The minimum GPA for most pharmacy programs is a 2.5, and again, that's the minimum, that's not to be competitive. Okay, so PT and OT. As I said, our workshop is currently available on our YouTube page, so definitely check it out. PT and OT programs are similar to PA in the sense that the prerequisites are the Wild West, so school list is very important. The clinical experiences that you need for PT and OT, they want them to be across the lifespan. So that means having a mixture of exactly what it sounds like, across the lifespan. So if you are in a pediatric unit and then you're in a nursing home, and anywhere in between. You want to have at least 3 different situations. So those need to be different populations and different locations. And I'm again going to use, pediatrics in a hospital versus a nursing home. Those are 2 very different populations and 2 very different types of settings. You definitely want hospital experience. That is definitely something that they're expecting of their applicants. Your undergraduate GPA is the most important thing when you're applying to these programs. That is how your foot is going to get into the door. They want to see that you have been focusing on your academics, and that you're ready for the rigor of being in the program that you're applying to. The GPA requirements for PT and OT programs vary. A lot of times it's a 3.0 or a 3.25, very similar to PA. Okay, so here's a general timeline of what the experience looks like at UMD to go into these programs. So right now you're pre-UMD, you're exploring your options, you're picking between institutions, and we really hope we see you on campus in the fall. Then in the summertime, you're going to orientation. So you're picking your classes based off your major. You won't be meeting with myself unless you're a nursing pathways major. But if you're PA or PT or OT, definitely come and see me day 1 of fall semester, so we can make sure that your 4-year plan is A-okay and you're on the straight and narrow. So your first year at UMD, we want you to familiarize yourself with campus, get involved with student organizations, know all of the resources to do well in class, GSS sessions, the writing center, all of the things that can help you succeed in the next couple of years. Year 2 is where we think that you should really start gaining your experience. So you can definitely do that your freshman year, but we want to make sure you're comfortable with how you are as a student with the rigor of college. So we recommend definitely year 2 starting to gain your experience in the clinical setting, the volunteer setting, whatever that may be. Year 3 is when we're going to start talking about applying. When are we applying? Are we taking a gap year? What are you missing from your application? For PA schools specifically, a lot of times students want to apply as juniors to go to PA school without a gap year, but a lot of programs require a bachelor's degree when you apply. So that will take a lot of schools off their school list, and maybe they will have to wait until their senior year inevitably. And then we're at year 4. So year 4, 5, 6, whatever the case may be, this is when you are still applying, preparing for matriculation, graduating, or that gap year. So some advising tips. As I've previously said, always consult the school-specific websites because that's what is the most important for that specific program, right? I can definitely give you some tips and tricks, but always consult the school-specific admissions reps if you want to know whether your abnormal psych is going to count for the Psych 100 credit that they're requesting, or whatever specific questions that you may have. Keep shadowing. There are every kind of type of health worker in hospitals. So when you are in a hospital setting, pay attention to the nurses and the PAs and the doctors and the PTs that are there. And, you may broaden your horizons into a career that you didn't think you wanted to do before just because you were in that setting. Also know that there are nurses and PAs and doctors in private practices. So a lot of times when students ask me, how do I start getting hours? A lot of you have doctors, family doctors that you've been going to your whole life maybe. So start there, right? They know you, they have a file on you. So they're more likely to kind of open their door a little bit more lenient than someone that you've never been to before. Come and see us. Tip number 3, come and see us early, often. My job is to help you get to your dream job, right? Into your dream program. So I definitely want to talk to you how to get there, what all you need. And this is an ever evolving relationship between us, right? You come in as a freshman, you'll be a different person your junior year. I'm not someone that you have to come and see every semester. If you are coming to see me your freshman year and then you think you have enough information to go and do all the things that you need to do until you are ready to apply, then please go and do all of the things and come back and see me when you're ready. And then when in doubt, always ask, never assume, because we don't want to get into a situation where we assumed that they accepted AP credits and then you have to take a psych because you're missing it, right? Always ask, always double check, always make sure that your plans and your application, everything is good. Okay, so typically this is where I open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions moving forward, there is my email. And then the second email is our office email. So if you want to ask a pre-med advisor a question, that would be the email address that you should shoot an email to. But again, my name is Kayla. I am the Allied Health academic advisor on campus here at the University of Maryland, and I really hope we get to see you in the fall.